Have you ever thought that if you could just quit your 9 to 5 and buy a one-way ticket to Thailand, that all of your life's troubles and worries would just magically disappear? Well, I thought the exact same thing. However, if you stick around and watch this video to the end, you'll not only find out why paradise isn't always what it seems, but you'll also learn how you can get the best out of your time here in Thailand. Hey, what is up, guys? This is Brett here from brettdev.com and welcome back to the channel. Now, today in this video, I thought it'd be interesting to reflect, look back, and talk about the expectations that I had before I moved to Thailand and the realities of what living in Thailand actually is after over a decade. Now, you're going to have to bear with me in this one because my energy isn't quite as high as it usually is because I have a cold, like the flu, basically. Everyone's got it. Everyone in the neighborhood's got it. It's really funny. Like every year, you go into 7-Eleven and all the Thai people are wearing masks. Everyone's coughing. Everybody gets it all at the same time. So I'm not feeling fantastic, but I still wanted to sit down and make a video because I was feeling inspired. So let's blast through them, okay? Like I said, when I first moved here, I had these certain expectations of what my life was going to be like. And a lot of things turn out way, way different, okay? So the first thing that I thought when I first moved out here to Thailand was that feeling of excitement, that feeling of, wow, this is just like the most funnest place in the world. Everything's so crazy and interesting. There's always something mad happening. There is always something mad happening. But I thought that feeling of awe, that feeling of, overwhelm would kind of stay with me and last the entire time I was here. Okay. Over time, that does begin to diminish. And things that seemed really novel and crazy, like seeing 4 or 5 people riding a motorbike, seeing a pickup truck piled 6 stories high with stuff on the back riding down the motorway, just lots of crazy stuff in Thailand. You would think that would blow your mind and surprise you, but over time, it tends to just become normal, right? You live somewhere long enough, it just becomes your new normal, to the point where even if I go back to Ireland or England now, I think some of the stuff there is weird and exciting, even though I lived there for, decades. But because it's just not what I'm used to seeing. This happens to pretty much everybody that moves here. So if you're coming here because you're thinking, oh God, it's going to be so exciting, I'm always going to be buzzing. I would say for me, it was like that for about the first 6 months, and then it slowly started to taper off, and to the point now where everything is completely normal to me. Okay, I don't really find anything really abnormal or out of the ordinary because I've been here for so long. Now, it's interesting because I discussed this inside of my online community the other day, and somebody made a very good point, and it's a point that I've always kind of understood, which is the best way for expats and people that live in a country like Thailand for a long time to recreate that feeling is by bringing other people here. So for me, that's just the most amazing thing. If I have a friend that's never been to Thailand, or if my family haven't been, or whoever, and they come here and you get to show them all of the exciting stuff, even though to you it's not exciting, but to them, they see it and they feel like it's exciting. You kind of get to re-experience it again through their eyes. And that's a really great and wonderful thing. If you can bring other people out here with the knowledge, with the experience that you have from living here, it kind of brings a little bit of that excitement back. So I thought Thailand would be this crazy, exciting, mad place, but actually it just turns into a normal place just where you live, which is pretty sad, to be honest, because I think when most people come here, they're in awe and they're like overwhelmed and they're like, this is so cool. I want to live in this place that's like the coolest place ever. And it becomes not cool. And then you're just like, damn, that's one of the best things about it. It's gone, right? But that is as something that I expected. I didn't expect would happen, but inevitably you learn that it does over time. Now, another thing for me personally that I expected would happen, and this may not apply to everybody, versus what actually happened when I moved here, was I expected for me to come to Chiang Mai, to join co-working spaces, to be like an entrepreneur and to make loads and loads of money really fast simply through networking with other entrepreneurs. Okay, I thought I was going to some sort of like Silicon Valley or something. I don't know. I was a bit stupid at the time, but that's kind of what I expected would happen. Now, when I first got here and I first started going to the co-working spaces in Chiang Mai, it was very different landscape to what it is today. Essentially, the way I would describe it would be, it was kind of like a bunch of backpackers just using their laptops. Okay. Now, everybody was an entrepreneur in the truest sense of the word. Now, this is going back to 2015, because 90 to 95% of the people in those co-working spaces were all building their own businesses. They were all hustling. They were all grinding. They all had the motivation to succeed. Most of them didn't succeed, but that entrepreneurial energy was there. However, that entrepreneurial energy didn't translate to anybody else's success, because everyone, like I said, was just kind of starting out. Chiang Mai is a place where there's a low cost of living. So you're not going to find super successful, super wealthy people here, really. And yeah, people were just like hustling and trying to get by. Like I say, 80 to 90% of people like inevitably failed or just moved on to something else, or it was kind of like a backpacker vibe. That's the only way I can describe it. But it was fun. It was really good. Made lots of friends, and it was really time that I really did enjoy when I first got here. I didn't like I said, I expected for me to just be going to these places and would meet people that I would naturally become successful. I was only 27 and never really done any online business before. So I was like, I'm just going to go to these places. I'm going to meet people. I'm going to become super successful. You're on your own, basically. You still are, okay? If you go to these places, people are doing their own things, especially now. The landscape's changed quite a bit, and you'll find actually that 80 to 90% of people, this shift kind of happened. It was changing leading up to COVID, but really post-COVID, 80 to 90% of people that you'll find in co-working spaces nowadays are all remote workers. Okay, so these are people that have got programming jobs. COVID came around. Their bosses allowed them to work remotely. I suppose they convinced their bosses that they can come and do it out here, and here they are. So that entrepreneurial vibe and that entrepreneurial scene has kind of disappeared a little bit from the co-working spaces, and it kind of now feels like you're just going into an office that's shared by a lot of people. So they're not as fun as they originally were, and the kind of the grind hustle spirit isn't really there as much as it was when I first got here. But regardless, then and now, I still don't think that you're going to be able to come here and just become super successful by way of networking. Okay, that's never been the case. It wasn't the case then, even though I thought it would have been, and it's not the case now. However, if you do want to network, and if you do want to meet a lot of people that are actually very successful, entrepreneurs, freelancers, all kinds of people, online teachers, I would encourage you to go over to join Nomad School. So Nomad School is my online community. We've got over 2,100 members in there. And I would say it's a pretty even balance between people who are actively living a digital nomad lifestyle and people who are aspiring to become digital nomads. So it's incredibly helpful for people who do want to network, who do want to see what others are doing, and who do want to get advice. And on the flip side, the other half of the people that are in there that are actually doing it, they are very outgoing, very eager to help everyone as well. So it's a great community. If you are looking to network and to kind of do the digital nomad online business thing, then make sure you go to nomadschool.com and you can sign up there and you can get access to the full community. Like I said, we've got other stuff in there as well, but the community is really, really great. The third expectation that I had about moving to Thailand, and this is something that so many people talk about, but I just don't find it to be true. And that is like the weather. So I came on a couple of holidays, Koh Phangan, struck at the right time, perfect weather, all the whole holiday, traveling around the country, just clear blue skies. And I thought, man, I'm in England, it's raining, it's shitty weather all the time in England. But I'm thinking if I go to Thailand, I'm just going to get this beautiful, blissful weather all of the time. Now, the weather in Thailand kind of varies depending on where in the country you live. So I can really only speak for Chiang Mai in terms of long-term weather. But for me, the weather really isn't actually that great. Okay, so you're going to get like those blissful, periods. You're going to get 3 to 4 months of the year where it's really clear, blue skies, perfect, absolutely great. That tends to fall between like October, November, December, January, February. So actually really November, December, January, February. Those are kind of like the best months of the year. After that, in Chiang Mai, when we've got March, April, May, we get a smoky season where it's just really bad pollution for like 3 months. Okay. And that's terrible. And then after that, we just get rain, loads and loads of rain. And with the rain, you get like, this like rain, sun. So you just get really, really bad humidity. Yeah. So my expectation was I'm going to go live somewhere where it's just beautiful climate, and the rainy season. I used to say, well, a lot of people say this. Oh, if it's raining, it's still going to be hot. It's still going to be nice. It's novel. Yeah. When you're like, okay, it's raining, but it's still hot. That's nice. It's not like when it rains and it's freezing in England or whatever, but then it's raining and it's humid and you feel like sticky and gross, like for months on end. I would highly suggest actually, if you're going to live here through the rainy season, that you buy a dehumidifier. I used to have one and then it broke. I need to buy another one. But you can pick them up online for a few $1,000 and they really transform your experience living here. If you have a dehumidifier during rainy season, like your overall like energy levels and everything are going to be so much higher. So I strongly recommend you get one of those if you're living here. It's funny because I think this has got to be a myth where people say like you adapt to the heat. And so many people have said that to me over the years. Oh, you've been there a long time, you adapt to it. I never adapt to it. I've been here for 10 years. I'm just as hot right now, sitting recording this video, as I was the day that I got off the plane. I'm like sweltering and it's like, it's hard to deal with, but that's something else. You don't adapt to it. Okay. You're not going to ever adapt to it. Well, at least I haven't. Another expectation that I had when I first came to Thailand was that I would just live this stress-free life. Okay. Again, when I first came here, I came here on holiday. I spent a lot of time on Koh Phangan. I stayed in a beautiful hotel with a beautiful swimming pool that overlooked the ocean. And every day I'd wake up and I'd go and sunbathe and lay in the pool. And I was like, man, this is the life. That's what made me want to move here. I was like, I could just do this forever. This is great. And I can work online. So why can't I do this? I can do this. I'm going to do it. And I did. But that reality, that expectation is not the true reality of living here. Now, while I do still have those blissful moments, especially in the afternoons, there's a few swimming pools around me, which I'm very grateful and lucky to have. And most afternoons I can just go to the pool, get some exercise in, do 20, 30 laps. And I do like 10 minutes of sunbathing, 10, 20 minutes of sunbathing. And in those moments, it is completely blissful, and especially when there's a blue sky and all my stress and all of my worries just disappear. And I do get that kind of same experience that I got when I first was on holiday. You do feel like you're on holiday every day for that hour or so when I'm in the pool. And that's really, really nice. However, when it's like 35 degrees, sometimes it goes up to 40, 42, 43 degrees in the hot season, and I'm on my motorbike and I hit a red light, and the traffic lights in Chiang Mai are just the worst ever. You can be sat at a red light for like 15 minutes in the blistering heat, surrounded by motorbikes and cars just pumping out even more heat. That stresses me out. Okay, so the environment, whilst yes, can create like this blissful, stress-free experience, the environment can also agitate you and piss you off, basically, and make you mad and make you feel probably worse off than if I was back in a car in England, just cruising in my car, right? With, I don't know, the heating on the car or something like that. It's just, what the point I'm making is, if you're expecting, it's just life to be all stress-free and all just like you're just strolling along a beach every day, unless you move here and you just go and stroll along a beach every day, then fine. But that'll probably get pretty boring. If you're expecting it to be like that and you're going to live somewhere like Chiang Mai, Bangkok, you'll actually find that you have other stresses in your life. The environment won't de-stress you. The environment can actually stress you out. Okay. So it's kind of like swings and roundabouts. But yeah, I think ultimately when we're talking about stress, you'll also get stress like internally as well, right? So like you'll create your own stresses, just like you do in everyday life, right? If you're back in your home country, you've got stresses in your life. If you really, really reflected on them, a lot of the stress that you experience in your life is a consequence of your own decisions and your own thinking, okay? Your own mind. What I've come to realize, and I'm still not great at practicing it, but most stress is from within, okay? So how do you perceive an event that's happened? Do you look at it negatively or positively? Do you appreciate the things that are good, like me getting to go and swim every day in the swimming pool? Or do I just not appreciate it and just act like it's a normal thing? So I think one takeaway here is that no matter where you live, whether you live, in your home country or if you're living in Thailand, don't expect a stress-free life anywhere, because you're always going to have stress. But the best way to manage that stress is from within yourself. Okay, that's where most stress comes from. And the environment can create triggers for stressing you out as well, like heat, bad traffic lights, whatever. Finally, the last expectation I had versus what my reality has become is that I never expected to be doing this, right? I never expected to be making YouTube videos. I never expected to be building online communities and doing online marketing. Didn't even know what online marketing was when I moved here. When I first got here, I was a web developer. Okay, I was doing WordPress development and Ruby on Rails. And I was getting clients, and I knew nothing about business, really. I just knew how to be a worker and to build stuff that people paid me to build for them. And I was really into code, and I loved coding. And all I wanted to do was that, more and more and more, and get more and more clients. Over time, I gradually kind of drifted out of that, and I drifted into online marketing. Not for any kind of financial reasons, but I just found that I could I found that the clients I was working with didn't really need websites. What they needed was online marketing. And that kind of piqued my interest in it. And I kind of transitioned into doing that, and I do YouTube and things like that as well. But the point is with this is that, you can expect to come here and you can expect to do this type of business, or even work for whatever employer you're currently working for, or get whatever type of job. And I've seen this happen to many people over the years. Often what you expect you're going to be doing, you wind up doing something completely different. Okay, because like I say, I've been here for 10 years, and that's a long time, man. Like, things change drastically. You completely change as a person. As you age, you become a completely different person. You get completely different interests. You make completely different friends. So what I would suggest is try and go with the flow as best as possible. Don't worry too much about the past. Don't worry too much about the future. And don't try and overplan for the future, because it's quite sad when I see this, when people come here and they have these really definite concrete plans and they're really rigid in their way of thinking. I'm going to Thailand, I'm doing this. That's going to be my outcome. It's good to have a plan. It's good to have goals. But sometimes I see people who are so rigid in doing something that if they don't succeed at it, they just keep trying and trying and trying and trying to do it. And they're more than capable of doing other stuff that they would probably find more interesting and probably make them more money. But because it doesn't meet their plan, they keep doing it. And ultimately, that's what causes them to fail and have to go home. Okay, I've seen this many, many, many times where people are saying like, I'm going to get this job, I'm going to work for these clients, and that's my thing, that's what I do. Come out here, you might learn something new, you might meet somebody, you might learn something different. If you think you'd enjoy it more, give it a shot and do something different. Divert from your plan. It doesn't really matter. As long as it makes sense and as long as you think you're capable of doing it, go for it, because over a period of time, what you expect you're going to be doing here probably won't be what you're doing 10 years from now. It might be, and for a lot of people it is. But like I said, I never expected to be doing YouTube, building online communities like Nomad School, and doing online marketing and things like that. I didn't even know what it was, okay, up until like 6-7 years ago. So there you go. I hope you've enjoyed this video, guys. Like I said, this is expectations versus realities. There's a lot of different, things I could talk about. These are just some that I come up with off the top of my head. But I am interested. I'm curious to see, if you've lived in a foreign country, what were your expectations and how did it actually turn out? Okay. If you want to join in the discussion, you can come over. I'll start a thread inside a Nomad School right here. And if you like this video, then make sure to check out this one because you're probably going to really enjoy it.